What's right? What's wrong?
How do I know the difference?
What's good? What's bad?
How can I make good choices?
With Philo and Sophie and all of their friends, I want to be my very best me. With Philo,
The penguin!
and Sophie,
The mermaid.
I learn to be happy.
Once upon a time, there was a good and wise king. He loved his people, and they loved him. He had a faithful helper named Lord Mahendra, who had been the king's closest friend for many years. One day, the good king gathered all his people and gave them a great command. "I shall be leaving on a journey," he said. "While I am gone, I would like you to build for me the most successful kingdom in the entire world. I am putting Lord Mahendra in charge. Do as he says." And with that, the king departed. The people were very excited and awaited Lord Mahendra's instructions. "Villagers," cried Lord Mahendra, "if we are to build the most successful kingdom in the entire world, we must gather all the riches in the land." So the wealthy people came forward, bringing gold, silver, diamonds, and fine jewels. Lord Mahendra marveled at the heaps of wonderful things. Suddenly, a group of poor beggars approached him. They wanted to help too, so they offered all that they had. Lord Mahendra was not impressed. "What is this?" he asked. "A few old coins and pots? These things are worthless. Our king desires a successful kingdom. We have no room here for you." And with a wave of his hand, he had his guards lead the poor beggars outside the city gates. Turning to the people, he cried out a second time, "Countrymen, if we are to build a successful kingdom, we will need the strongest people to build the tallest buildings and the grandest structures in the world." So the strong people came and built great and beautiful buildings. But as Lord Mahendra was admiring their progress, a group of not-so-strong people interrupted him. Some were old or weak. Others were blind or couldn't walk. They wanted to help too. Lord Mahendra was not impressed. "Who are you?" he demanded. "Sick people? Old people? You're not strong enough to build tall buildings." "Well, some of us can bring water for the strong ones to drink," said an old man. "The rest of us can pray for God's blessing on your work." "Humph!" humped Lord Mahendra. "This is a very important mission, and we do not have time to worry about you." He waved his hand, and the guards escorted them outside the city gates. Once on the other side, the poor beggars welcomed them. "Let's work together to set up small huts in which to live." And they did. Those who were too old or too sick watched. Some prayed for God's blessing. Back in the city, Lord Mahendra addressed the people. "Citizens," he cried, "bring me the smartest men and women." The smart people came forward, and Lord Mahendra made them scientists and doctors, astronauts and mathematicians, judges and lawmakers. They were all very important. But then came those who were not as smart. They were all hoping that they could be given important jobs too. Lord Mahendra was not impressed. "What have we here?" he laughed. "Are you smart enough to do anything useful?" The not as smart people were about to answer, but the guards pushed them outside the city gates. There they were welcomed by the others and helped to plant apple trees. Some cared for the elderly and for those who were blind and on crutches. Others began to build a little church. Meanwhile, back in the city, Lord Mahendra's voice cried out once more. "My people," he said, "bring me the most talented actors and actresses, artists and musicians, athletes and sports heroes." The talented people came, and Lord Mahendra built a grand concert hall, an enormous sports arena, fine museums, and an expensive theater. As he was giving orders, a woman approached him with 5 small children. "Who are you?" he bellowed. "I am a mother. I have 5 children and 1 more on the way." She patted her large round tummy. Lord Mahendra was not impressed. "Can they act?" Can they dance? Can they do any sports? Well, not yet, she admitted. They're too small. But one day, well, then they're not important yet, he boomed. And the guards escorted the mother and her children outside the gates. At last, Lord Mahendra looked around and admired the kingdom he had created. This is the most successful kingdom in the entire world. The king will be very proud. And he sat down to await the king's return. A few days later, the good king came back from his long journey. He summoned Lord Mahendra, eager to see what had been accomplished. Beaming from ear to ear, Lord Mahendra led the king through the streets. He pointed at the piles of fine jewels. "Aren't they magnificent, sire?" he asked. "Well, yes," replied the king, staring at the heaps of gold. "But what happened to the people who used to live here?" "Oh, you mean the beggars?" said Lord Mahendra. "Well, they were in the way of the fine buildings that we built." He led the king to see the beautiful towers. The strong people stood nearby, flexing their muscles so that the king would know it was they who had done all the work. "These are nice," said the king. "Thank you. But what happened to all the sick and elderly people who used to gather here?" "They were in the way of our success, sire. We removed them," Lord Mahendra said, and led the king on to see the smart people, who were all hard at work. "I am very glad to meet you," said the king, "and I thank you for your service." The important people looked down their noses at the king and gave a slight nod of the head. "Mahendra," whispered the king, "where's everybody else?" "Your Majesty, you asked for a successful kingdom. These are the people who do the most important work." He took the king by the sleeve and pulled him into a grand theater. Raising his arms high above his head, he announced, "And now, for those with the greatest talents." Actors acted, artists painted, musicians sang, and athletes competed. They were amazing. But the king was not looking at the talented people. He was looking at Lord Mahendra. "My friend," he said, "what have you done with all the children?" Lord Mahendra was unable to hide his frustration any longer. "I sent them away," he bellowed. "We're missing the show, sire. Now please, pay attention." Startled by Lord Mahendra's outburst, the performers fell silent. And at that very moment, a faint sound drifted through the air. It was so quiet that no one was sure what it was at first. But it was beautiful. It sounded like a little child singing. The good king turned to follow the sound. Lord Mahendra followed the king. "Sire," he said, where are you going?" The king walked out of the theater and past the smart people. He passed the beautiful buildings and the great piles of gold. He walked right out of the city gates with Lord Mahendra behind him. When he reached the little church, he stopped. And at that very moment, the doors of the church flung open, and all the people whom Lord Mahendra had sent away came pouring out. A little boy was singing a hymn. A young girl held the hand of an old woman. A poor woman guided a blind man. Some people were pushing others in wheelchairs, and others were holding babies. The king turned pink with joy and then addressed Lord Mahendra. "My dear friend, I know you meant well, and the kingdom you built is very impressive. There are many wonderful things about it, but you did not do what I asked." Lord Mahendra's mouth opened, but nothing came out of it. "These people here have something that your kingdom does not have," continued the king, "and it's the most important ingredient to a successful kingdom." Lord Mahendra's heart sank. "Sire, I don't understand. We worked tirelessly day and night. We found the best, the smartest, the most talented people in the world. What could these poor and weak people possibly have that our kingdom does not?" "Love," answered the king. "They have love." Lord Mahendra gasped. He looked at all the people he had thrown away. He saw their kindness to one another. He saw their gentleness and compassion. He saw them caring for each other. He saw their love for God. For the first time, Lord Mahendra saw the people with his heart. and his heart broke. He began to tremble and then hung his head in shame. "Oh, sire, I have failed you. I am so sorry. Please forgive me." He buried his face in his hands and cried. The king smiled. "Of course I forgive you," he said. "It is very easy to mistake power and wealth for success. But the most successful people in the world are really the ones who know how to love." He put his hand on his friend's shoulder. "Mahendra, how would you like to make our successful kingdom complete?" Lord Mahendra raised his head and sniffed back some tears. "But I have nothing left to give you, sire," he said. "Yes, you do," smiled the king. He picked up a small child and placed her in Lord Mahendra's arm. A mother put one of her babies in his other arm, and the king lifted a child with crutches onto his shoulders. "You have a good heart," said the king. Lord Mahendra looked surprised and confused. He didn't know what to do. Suddenly, the baby in his arms squealed with delight and bonked him on the head with her rattle. Everyone gasped. Lord Mahendra winced. But then, his eyes softened, and a smile crossed his lips. It grew bigger and bigger until he began to laugh. And then, everyone was laughing. From that day on, Lord Mahendra became known as Uncle Mahendra. He served the king for many years, caring for the sick and the elderly, giving food to the poor, welcoming the children, and seeing the goodness in all people. And the kingdom became the most successful kingdom the world had ever known.
For more videos, activities, and parent-teacher resources that teach happiness, logic, and virtue, visit philoandsophie.org.